I was asking James how many minutes I should do, and he said 11, so I'll take 14. I teach critical thinking, and one of the things that matters to me is the idea of left brain artistic thinking right brain artistic thinking and left brain detailed thinking, big picture details. To me, the best way to think is using our whole brains. And the best way to learn to use our whole brains is to incorporate arts into what we do in the sciences. To me, you can't separate those things. That's thinking with half a brain. So I tend to rant about this a lot. I do prose poems, and if it's going to be a rant, I guess we'll just call this a prant. Prant. Let's all be scientists and mathematicians. Clearly, all the world's evils, like, say, war, poverty, abuse, exclusion, and all the isms, have been created by artists, musicians, and poets. The way to a better world is obviously through science and numbers. We need more ologies and whateverical sciences. You know, better living through chemistry and all that. In schools, let's fund those sciences and get rid of those artistic, expressive troublemakers who want to destroy our world. If they want to exist in our ever-improving world, those right-brained dingbats need to become real scientists. We need artological scientists, musical sciences, and poetical sciences if we're going to get away from all this conflict and devastation of our way of life. Let's count, measure, dissect, and figure out how to input artsy-fartsy data into a computer and come up with better art. Not that sloppy expressive stuff, but clearly documented and peer-reviewed art. We need art that can be verified through research and replication of results. We need binary and mathematical poems such as, I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a 3. Poems are made by fools like yous, but only a computer can think in 2s. Honestly, if you want to be taken seriously and get funding these days, you need to be a scientist or a mathematician. That's why I'm so glad that fields like psychology have moved into an entirely new realm of being scientific. They are now termed the psychological sciences, which I guess means they are the science of the mind. Deep, huh? A science of a science. Here's how that works. In the seemingly ageless argument over nature-nurture, psychology has determined through endless research there is no nature, just nurture. You're not born an artist, a musician, or a poet. You were conditioned to be a poet. And the indisputable proof of this is, wait for it, conditioning is provable and can be replicated. I guess that means nature's not provable and can't be replicated. But wait, there's more. Our foremost psychological scientist, B.F. Skinner, ended the seemingly ageless argument over free will. He decided there's no such thing. And his indisputable scientific proof is, wait for it, free will is an illusion. In case you've not been paying attention, this is a dominant and indisputable scientific belief in the science of psychology, and it must be true because it's science. Those of you who are artists and poets and musicians seeking truth would do well to remember that. Well, the good news here is that by shifting our efforts toward those things we consider sciences, we can avoid all of that discontent created by those on the right, and that means right brain, not political right. The political right has no right brain for some reason. Without that pesky and confusing thing called free will, we don't need a constitution because democracy would just be part of the illusion. Freedom would be an illusion. We wouldn't need any religion based on free will because it would just be an illusion. Science, a science of a science, can solve all our problems, express our deepest and most profound truths, and get funding. I'd tell you to choose to be scientists, but the scientific fact is you don't have that choice because there's no such thing as free will. Choice is an illusion. Don't worry, we'll condition you to be in scientific, mathematical, poets, artists, and musicians. Just accept the truth and be done with it. I'd like to conclude with a joke to continue conditioning you toward this goal and end on a positive point. If your brain is working properly, you'll get the joke. A binary code and some extraneous data go into a bar. The bartender says, "We don't get much extraneous data here." The binary code says, "That's because of your parameters." Ha! Good one, huh? If you didn't get the joke, just remember humor is an illusion too. Thank you. I'm reading fast because I want to get 3 pieces in tonight. I think I can do it in my 11 minutes. This is about my good qualities. You're not supposed to laugh at that part. but people always do. I don't know what that's about. I like to keep an open mind. Does that mean I have holes in my head? Is it empty? Is there a vacuum behind my eyes? Will light shining in one of my ears come out the other? I like to be positive. Does that mean I say yes to absolutely everything? Does that mean I can be neutralized by a negative charge? Does that mean I'm absolutely sure about everything? I like prudence, justice, temperance, and courage, along with honor, patience, faith, and hope. Does that mean I date Puritan women? Dear Prudence, I'm leaving you for Temperance Brennan. Hey, Faith, you heard from Hope lately? I respect common sense. Does that mean I'm common? Or that I respect the senses most of us have in common, like, say, smelling? I like self-awareness. Does that mean I'm aware that I'm aware? I want to evolve. Does that mean I'll be growing a protective coating to keep me safer in my environment and coloration to make me less visible to predators? Maybe a longer neck or wings or extra arms? Or an extra head so I can really, really multitask? I want to accept everyone as my brothers and sisters. Does this mean I should accept an endless stream of hand-me-downs? Should I go ahead and embrace sibling rivalry? I want to build trust in all things. Does that mean I need to invest myself in fiduciary responsibility? I'd like to change the world. Does that mean I need a bigger diaper? Should it be disposable? Could I dispose of it on the moon? When I woke up this morning, I shook my 2 heads and waved my 4 arms and planted my 6 legs on the floor, but nobody saw me. I closed my mind, shrugged neutrally, became oblivious to myself, and began writing Dear John letters to Puritan women. I smelled the world and decided somebody else in the family could change it. I truly think I'm a better person now. Thank you. This next one is, in the words of Melanie, which is a phrase I'm going to steal from her and keep it. This next one is a progress in work. Did you hear her say that? I thought that was beautiful. I know it was unintentional, but I loved it. So I said it now. That means I get to own it, right? So this one is one that I started writing this morning. What daddy didn't tell you about the birds and the bees? Daddy probably told you that's how we get more babies and people, right? But did he mention that without them, without the birds and the bees, we get fewer people? Some Einstein, one named Albert, said that if the bees disappear off the face of the earth, man only has 4 years left to live. Okay, he had to just be plain wrong about that. He obviously wasn't aware that science can fix any problem under the sun. Bees pollinate stuff, about anything flowery, and that includes flowery crops, like, say, okra, onion, cashew, celery, strawberry, mustard, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, chili pepper, watermelon, tangerine, cantaloupe, cucumber, squash, pumpkin, lemon, carrot, walnut, apple, lima bean, kidney bean, string bean, green bean, mango, cherry, almond, peach, plum, pear, raspberry, blackberry, elderberry, tomato, and grape. And a whole lot of other stuff. A whole bunch, like, say, every 3rd bite you eat. Well, maybe science should get its butt in gear because nearly 1/3 of the world's bee population disappeared last year. And science doesn't know why, not exactly. Some blame pesticides, but at the same time won't support a ban on them because they don't have enough evidence. Some blame a little parasite called the varroa mite and a fungus named Nosema, but they aren't doing anything because they don't have enough evidence. There's also the thought that GMOs with altered pollen might be a cause, but science says not enough evidence. Ah, well, no big deal. We'll figure it out sooner or later. So what about the birds? Actually, I found some biologists who explained that when an animal vacates its niche, another will move in and take its place. And his particular thought was that without birds, the niche of flying bug eater would be taken over by bats, who would then start flying during the day. Well, not that we need to worry about the birds, because we stopped using DDT, that silent spring villain that interfered with their egg laying. Well, we didn't stop manufacturing it, by the way, but we did stop using it, sort of. Anyway, with the birds gone, I'll be able to write the Audubon field guide to bats for all those potential bat watchers out there. I can make a bundle on little backyard bat feeders. I can create bat houses in my backyard too, or maybe I should just dig caves. We can watch the bats return to Capistrano and probably even have bat hunting, supported by a group called Bats Unlimited. Of course, it might have no little problem because birds eat bugs that eat crops, but hey, I'll bet science can devide a new pesticide to eradicate all the bugs. Problem solved. Anyway, we'll have the bats eat bugs too, unless, of course, we wipe out their food supply. Well, I wouldn't take that Einstein thought too seriously. So what if we lose all those fruits and veggies? We'll still have corn. Like, say, the corn planted last year near Elmwood, Ontario, where 37 million bees were found dead. I'm not sure, though, whether the GMO corn or the air-spread insecticides called neonicotinoids could possibly have any connection. Let's just wait and see what happens, shall we? Meanwhile, Daddy can just figure out another way to explain where babies come from. Instead of the birds and the bees, he can talk about the GMOs and the bats.